So this is interactive scripting, week 15. I realized that I forgot to tell y'all how to pick up and drop guns. So we're going to do that really quickly. And it's going to involve the player having a hand. So here's a little hand. And if the player is close enough to pick up the gun, then the player will just automatically pick up the gun. That's how we're gonna run it. So there's gonna be an on-trigger enter that checks to see if we ran into a gun, and if we don't have a gun already, we're gonna pick up the gun. And that'll actually be, there'll be a pickup and a drop function on the gun script that the player will just be calling. The pickup is just going to set rigid body to is kinematic and then move it to the hand position and the hand rotation. And the drop function is going to set the parent to nobody and set is kinematic to false so that it falls, and we'll also probably throw it forwards away from us. Okie dokie. So on the player, we're going to build a gun handling function, or gun handling script, and we're going to have a public transform hands. This will be where the gun is held. We'll also build a gun script called held gun. It'll be equal to null. And we're going to say void on trigger enter collider other if other.gameObject.compare tag equals gun. And then we'll check to see if held gun is equal to null. So if we're already holding something, don't do anything. We'll call other.gameObject. Actually, we'll just say that held gun is equal to GameObject.getComponents gun. And then we'll call held gun dot pickup. So if we're not holding anything, now we're holding this. We probably also need some sort of input manager. Do I have anything like that yet? Holding buttons and whatnot. All right, I'm just going to leave it here. So void update. Am I using the new input system? I can't tell. Unity's going to say, we don't have a definition for drop or for pickup. What the heck, friend? And that's fine. Let's go to the gun scripts and add those. Public void pickup and public void drop. Okay. So under gun handling, everything's happy now. Let's also say that when we drop the gun, held gun is equal to null. That way we can't shoot the gun if we don't have it. I think the gun script, yeah, is using this the input system to shoot. So we're actually going to change that to gun handling. So in gun handling, we're adding our input system, and most of this, right? Let's go ahead and bring all of this over to gun handling. And we will say held gun.fire. And we probably need to make that a public variable, a public function. So that way the handling is not in the gun script anymore. And I will need to do var keyboard equal to keyboard dot current, and if keyboard is equal to null, return. Finally, this will be keyboard dot something. Let's do dot .e. I'm sure it's not that. How about a capital E? All right, one moment. All right, so it's E key like that, hopefully. We'll see. All right, so what do we need to do when we get picked up? We probably need a reference to a hand, so transform hand. We will send that along in the gun handling scripts. So if we call held gun pickup, we're going to send it the hands. And we are going to say that this.transform.setParent to hand. We don't have reference to a rigid body yet. I think there's a rigid body bullet prefab, but we also want a private rigid body, RB. And then in void start, we can have RB equals this.gets component rigid body. Please make sure that your bullets, that your guns have rigid bodies. Type gun already defines this. Whoops. There we go. We got a few variables that are in the wrong spot. Okay. So set parent to hand, rb.isKinematic equals true. So don't let the gun fall. And then we'll set the position equal to where the hand is. So this.transform.position is equal to hand.position. This.transform.rotation is equal to hand.rotation. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. On drop, we're going to do similar things. So we're going to set parent to null. We're going to set isKinematic to false. And then we're going to say rb.add relative force. Vector 3.forward force mode dot impulse, just like a bullet, and we'll just say multiply times 5. 5 is probably good. If not, then we'll increase it, or we can make it public if you want to. All right, let's make sure our guns have a rigid body. So under the prefabs, fire gun, ice gun, both need a rigid body. Here they are, and there is kinematic false, which is great. That's the only way to get them to fall out of the spawner anyway. All right, since I've got this set up, I'm going to make a hand. Game object, create empty. We'll call this hand. This should be a child of the camera. I will delete this gun and make sure that the gun handling has a reference to the hand transform. I'm going to hit play. Turn around and have a look at my gun spawner. Get close. And I don't have a trigger, so I can't pick up anything. Okay. So let's do here, sphere collider is trigger, size of 1.1. Move it up to 1. Actually, I'm going to make this something like 1.5. Okay, so in the main view, you should see me run into this, and then run into this gun. And it says tag gun is not defined, so none of my guns are tagged. That's fair. Add tag, gun. So you can see here, gun is not defined. Let's go to my prefabs for the guns, tag them as gun, hit play again. And bam, automatically sets itself right here. I can shoot, I can press E to drop it, and there's a null reference exception. Not sure why. The variable bullet spawn, okay. I worry that I'm picking it up on the same frame that I'm trying to drop it, but let's go ahead and do some debug.log. Gun handling, line 24, object reference is not set to an instance of an object. Held gun.drop. So I'm pressing it, and then I'm setting held gun equal to nothing. And then what? I feel like this isn't happening. So just in case that the issue is that it's in the wrong spot or it's grabbing it again, what I'm going to do is set this this.transform.translate transform.forward times 2. And that's going to move it 2 meters in front of the player and then throw it. And hopefully that's enough. Otherwise, I'll look for that debug.log that we had. Okay, pick it up, shoot with it, and E to throw. And it throws it, but then immediately catches it again. Because it's throwing it the wrong direction. Okay. Let's try, instead of transform.forward, let's try a 20. Really throw it like a baseball. So if I zoom out a little bit, I can watch it throw itself behind me. Actually, I can watch it move itself behind me. So I'm going to do a negative vector 3.forward and see if that fixes it. Pick up the gun, drop it. So now it's going in front of me, but then shooting back towards me. This is absurd. Okay, thank goodness. Gun is gone. I pick it up, I shoot it, I press E, and I throw it rather aggressively away from me. I could probably throw it at the enemy too. Maybe I could get it to do double damage if it actually like hits the enemy. That would be fun. Okay. Quit shooting me. I should be able to walk up to this again and continue shooting it. So if I find a gun that I like but I want to save it for later, I can just save it for later. And let's throw this and make sure that when I'm clicking that it doesn't continue shooting. I'm getting null reference exceptions, so what I want to try is in update, since this is all about held gun, we're just going to skip it if held gun does not equal null, then check all of this stuff. So that way we won't even be calling any of these if we're not holding a weapon. Okay. That's the code in the gun handling script, and I edited the gun script, and that is all I edited. I'm going to push that to GitHub. And I'll see you next time.